Hi, how are you? Welcome to this class. This is Antonio Galimberti from AG Languages. I'm so happy to have you here today. And what are we going to do today? Today we're going to be talking about types of transportation. This is class number 56. 56 classes elementary English. Thank you for being connected and also thank you for watching the recording of this class. And what are we going to be doing today? To talk about types of transportations. We will review articles and the zero articles and the and zero article to talk about types of transportation. And here we have a set of pictures, and you will use these pictures to describe what you see there, to narrate a story. And this is a card in order to talk about transportation using articles in preparation for an international exam like the PEIC exam. We will also write a paragraph with 187 words. We will review vocabulary and we will also review pronunciation using phonetic symbols. Are you interested in online English classes? Please contact us. We will be happy to be of your help and assistance with your English. At the end of the class, we will have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you are connected watching this live class, please write your comments right there on YouTube, right? So are you ready for the speaking class? I am. Welcome to this speaking class. This is class number 56, and this class is about types of transportation. And we will review the use of articles. Which articles? Indefinite articles such as a and an, and the definite article the, and zero article when article is not necessary or when an article is not necessary. Nice. So let's start with this one. No articles. And we have the definition here, or I mean the explanation on when you should not be using articles. We do not usually use an article before a plural noun when we speak in general. For example, I like cars. I like cars in general. So you don't need to use an article. But I don't like motorcycles. Motorcycles in general, I don't like them, so you don't use an article. Here, you're speaking in general. You're talking about cars in general, motorcycles in general. So you do not need to use an article before a plural noun because you're talking about things in general. The same happens in the second example. Bicycles are convenient. Yes, bicycles. Which bicycles? Bicycles in general. That's cool. Now, we do not use an article before cities and most countries. For example, there is a modern subway in Santiago. That's the name of the city, Santiago de Chile. Next, there's a good number of electric cars in Canada. So you have the country, but you don't have the or an article before it. The same happens with Santiago. You don't have an article before it. So that happens with most countries and cities. Now, we do not use an article in some phrases such as go by car, go by train, go by bus, go by taxi, go on foot, go home, go to work, go to school, get home, get to work, get to school, be at home, be at work, be at school, have breakfast, have dinner, have lunch. No article needed in those phrases. Now, what about indefinite articles, meaning a and an? We use them, we usually use an indefinite article before singular countable nouns. For example, traffic is a problem in my city. You are talking about one problem, and you have a noun in singular form. That is problem. And right before the noun, you have an article, a. There isn't a good transportation system. What is your noun here? System. But you have two modifiers before the noun, good and transportation. and you have an article before the noun and the modifiers that you see in light blue. A. So what do you say? There is a good transportation system. Here in these two cases, in the first example and the second one, it is like if you were saying one, number one. There is one problem, there is one good transportation system, right? And as you can see, the article in the second example, it comes before the modifiers in light blue and before the noun in yellow. Example number three, I've got an interesting idea to reduce traffic. Again, here you have the main noun idea, then you have a modifier, an adjective right before the noun, interesting, which is in light blue, and before it you have an article, an. Here you have an because interesting starts with a vowel sound. So if the word starts with a vowel sound, it doesn't matter if it's the noun or the modifier, you have to use an as an article. Next, we usually use an or a, meaning an indefinite article, before jobs. Example, my sister is a taxi driver. That doesn't happen in Spanish, so that's why it's important to remember this when you speak in English. Now, what about definite article? The definite article, the. Well, we usually use the definite article before nouns when there is only one thing, a unique thing you are referring to. For example, the president. How many presidents are there? There's only one president. The country has only one president. Each country has only one president. So when you're talking about the president, you know whom you are talking about, or I mean, people know whom you are talking about. So that's why you need a definite article, because the president is a definite person, it is a unique person, it is a specific person, and you say the president, right? The president will start a new project to reduce traffic in the capital city. How many capital cities are there in a country? Just one. It is unique. There is only one. It is specific. It is not general. That is why you use a definite article, because you are defining something very specific. So the president, only one. The capital, there is only one, two. Unique, not general. The article. A definite article is necessary. Now, we usually use the definite article in some phrases. For example, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, on the weekend, in the city, on the right, on the left. And we usually use the indefinite article in superlatives. Like, for example, the fastest way to get there is by train. Walking is the healthiest alternative. So you use superlatives when you want to compare three or more things, when you want to talk about number one, let's say the best. In this case, the fastest way to get there is by train, or walking is the healthiest alternative among all the alternatives that we have. Now we're going to use articles, the, and zero articles to practice test taking strategies while talking about different types of transportation. We're going to review some test taking strategies for the Pearson English International Certificate. And this is the task. You have to imagine that you're taking the exam and there is this situation. Imagine you have a friend who needs directions to go to a shopping area in your city. He's going to ask you questions about public transportation. Your partner is your friend. He will ask you questions and make comments. This is the task, and you're taking the exam. So, this is the card that you receive, and here this card has a description of the situation, the role play you are going to have with the other person that is also taking the exam with you, very likely. So, in order to develop that conversation, we're going to focus on the use of articles. Remember, a, an, indefinite articles, the definite article, and zero article when you don't need an article. Okay, so let's get familiar with the task. It says, tell him you're happy he will visit your city. Ask him how you can help him. Ask him where he's staying. Tell him he can walk to the bus station. Tell him it can be an 8-minute walk. Tell him to take a bus to the shopping area of the city then. He should take a green bus. Tell him to buy a bus card first and to call you if he needs help to buy one. Good. So this is a task. So can you turn this into a dialogue? Yes, we have an example here. This is not a perfect example, but it's an example that can give you an idea on how you can interact with the other person while having this conversation, right? Hey, I will visit your city soon. So you have the card and you say, I'm happy to hear that. Let me know if you need any help. Now, light blue too. Yes, please. I want to go to a shopping area called Gamarra. I have heard there is good clothing there. Yellow too. Yes, there is. And at good prices. Where are you staying? Light blue 3. I am staying at the Wasi Hotel. Yellow 3. Great. You can walk to a bus station nearby. Light blue 4. How long is the walk? Yellow 4. It is an 8-minute walk. Light blue 5. Awesome. What should I do then? Yellow 5. You should take a green bus to the shopping area of the city. Light blue 6. A green bus. Got it. Will I need a bus card? Number 6, yellow. Yes, you have to use a bus card. Please let me know if you need help to buy one. Light blue 7. I will. Great. So this was the card, and we turned the card into a dialogue, a conversation, following the instructions in the card. Did we use the grammar? Yes. Here we have the grammar. For example, let's focus on light blue. Number 2, a shopping area. How many areas are you talking about? Just one. Singular noun, so you need to use an article. A shopping area. Do you have a modifier? Yes, shopping, which is between the article or the article and the noun. Next, number 2, good clothing. Clothing. That is an uncountable noun or a non-count noun. So it is never going to need an article such as a, an, or, okay, because it doesn't have a singular form or a plural form. It's just like that, non-countable, clothing. But you have a modifier right before it. Number 3, the Wasi Hotel. Why are you using a definite article, the Wasi Hotel? Because you're talking about a specific hotel, right? You're even providing the name of the hotel. That's why you need a definite article, because you are talking about a definite hotel, a specific hotel. Then, how long is the walk? The walk. Your noun here is walk, noun, not a verb. Why are you using the? Because you are referring to how much time it is going to take you to walk to the bus station. So you have been already talking about a walk. Now this is the second time that you're mentioning the walk. That's why you use a definite article to say that you're referring to the walk that was previously mentioned. The next, number 6, a bus card in general. So when you talk about things in general, you can use count nouns in singular form preceded by an article. In this case, a. Let's go to yellow now. Okay, number 2, good prices. This is plural, prices, noun in plural, and you have a modifier right before it, and you don't need an article, and you don't need a or an, because prices is plural, and you use a or and with singular nouns, and you don't need the either, because you're talking about prices in general, so you don't use an article here. Now, a bus station, yes, because maybe there are, number three, there are different bus stations in the area, so you have to go to a bus station, one station out of many, not a specific station. Then it's an 8-minute walk. You're talking about how much time walking there is going to take you, and this is the first time that you may be mentioning the walk, or if it's not the first time, you're just describing the walk in general terms. That's why you need an indefinite article at the beginning between the modifier 8 minute. Next, a green bus. A green bus in general, because you will see many green buses. So a lot of green buses pass by. So you have to take a green bus, one of many. Now, number five, the city. How many cities are you talking about? One. The city in the conversation. A specific city, a definite article. A bus card. There are many bus cards. There, you only need to have one. And that's why you're using an indefinite article. And at the end, number six, you have help. Help. The last line. Help. Help is an uncountable noun, so you don't need an article like a or an right before it. Okay, so we have tried to use the grammar that we're reviewing today in this conversation. Now, we're going to focus now on an A2 Key Cambridge exam. And when you take an exam like this, they give you a set of pictures and you have to write a paragraph based on the pictures. But at AG Languages, we don't do it like that. We do it like a speaking activity to encourage speaking. So we see somebody walking, somebody riding a bike, a taxi, and a horse. So we will put those pictures together to narrate something like a story, or just to describe what we see, trying to use our imagination a little bit, but the pictures and articles such as a and the, and also zero article. So number one here, John goes for a walk in the morning every day. In the morning. We are using the article the because it comes in common phrases like this one, in the morning. Number two, he lives near the beach. There's only one beach, unique, so you need a definite article. Number three, so he walks along the seafront in his neighborhood. The seafront, you're talking about a specific place in his neighborhood. So since there's just one seafront in his neighborhood, and you're referring to the seafront that is in his neighborhood, very specific, you have to use a definite article because you are talking about something definite, specific, not about seafronts in general. Next, he avoids using public transportation in general. Public transportation in general. Transportation is non-count. Okay, so you're not going to put it in plural, and you don't need an article right before it, so that's why you have zero article here. You only have transportation and a modifier before it. Next, number two, he rides his bicycle to go to work. Go to work, it's a phrase, a common phrase that does not require the use of an article. You don't have an indefinite or definite article right there. Number three, he has a new bicycle. How many bicycles? Just one. Bicycle is in singular, so that's why you're using the indefinite article a. Now, this is the first time that you're mentioning the bicycle. That's also why you need to use an indefinite article a. He has a new bicycle, and as you can see, there's a modifier, an adjective between the article and the noun in yellow. Number four, the bicycle is lightweight. Why do you have a bicycle in yellow in number three and the bicycle in four in orange? Because in yellow, a bicycle refers, you use an indefinite article a in yellow because it is the first time that you're mentioning the bicycle. Okay? In number four, in orange, you use the because it is the second time you're mentioning the bicycle, and you are referring to a specific bicycle. Which bicycle? The one that you mentioned before. So that is a very useful rule that you should learn when it comes to learning how to use articles. The first time you mention something, a in singular. The second time you mention it, the, all right, in singular too, or plural, depending on whether the context is in singular or plural. Now, you're going to see this here. Look, he sometimes takes a taxi. What do you mean by a taxi? Any taxi, a taxi in general. Taxi can come here in plural. If it were in plural, then you wouldn't be using an article. But since it is in singular, taxi, you need to use an indefinite article. It is the first time you're mentioning taxi, but also it is because you're talking about any taxi, not a taxi in particular. But in number two, you say the taxis in his city are expensive. Why? Number one, it is the second time you're mentioning the word taxi, but also you're talking about taxis in general, but not in general. You're talking about specific taxis, the taxis in his city. The taxis in his city. Is it general? No, it's not. It's not general. It's specific. So if it's specific, you need to use a definite article because you need to define the kind of taxis that he's referring to. Okay. So in review, so that we don't get confused. Number one, a taxi, one taxi, singular. You need an indefinite article. And also because it's taxis in general, a taxi, any taxi. Number two, that taxis in his city. Yes, that is what I should have highlighted in orange. That taxis in his city. You're talking about specific taxis, the ones in his city. So you have to use a definite article because you're defining the type of taxes that he is talking about. Number three, taxis are convenient for him for long distances. You see, taxis in general, any taxi, taxis in general, in plural and no article. In number one, in yellow, you are also talking about taxis in general, but it's in singular with an article. And it's the first time that you're mentioning a taxi. In number three, you're talking about taxis in general, but the word is in plural. That's why you do not need an article. Taxis are convenient for him for long distances. For long distances, you don't need an article in that phrase. Now, when John was young, he lived with his grandfather and used horses for transportation. Horses, plural. Horses in general, you don't need an article, and it's in plural. For transportation. Transportation, non-count noun. You don't use an article, a or an, with non-count nouns. His grandfather gave him a horse so that he could use it whenever he wanted. So here you're talking about one horse, singular. That's why you need an indefinite article, a horse. Also, this is the first time that you're mentioning the horse, so you need an indefinite article, a horse. But look at number three. This is the second time that you mention the specific horse. So what do you say? The horse became John's pet. You see? So in review, this is a very useful slide to review the use of articles. Number one, horses. No the, zero article, no a, no an. When you have a noun in plural and you're talking about things in general, horses. Next, transportation. No article, no a, no an, because transportation is a non-count noun. You see? And next, a horse, singular, indefinite article. First time you mention something. Number three, the horse, specific horse. Second time you mention something, definite article. Okay, thank you. If you want to watch the whole video or the collection of videos that we have, visit aglanguages.com. Please, if you're interested in online classes, WhatsApp message. We will be delighted to help you out. You can leave your comments, your questions, and visit our website and our blog. Please, visit our blog and follow Hector Cabreras on Instagram and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram too. Nice. So thank you very much for being connected. If you are connected, hi there. If you're watching the recording, thank you very much for watching the recording. I'm very happy to have you here. Now, are you ready for the writing class? I am ready. So here we go. Welcome to this writing class. This is writing class number 56. Wow. So I'm very happy to be here with you for this class. And today we're going to write a paragraph with 187 words about transportation in my city. This is class number 56. Which grammar are we going to review? Before talking about the grammar, the topic is types of transportation, and the grammar is articles, a and the, zero article. And this is the paragraph, 187 words, class number 56, transportation in my city. I will be reading the paragraph, and while I am reading the paragraph, please try to identify the target language, the use of articles, definite articles, indefinite articles, or zero articles. Okay, I will read the whole paragraph and then we will talk about the things that we can learn based on this piece of writing. Transportation in my city. There are different types of transportation in my city. The best one is the electric train, which crosses the capital city. The train is fast, clean, and reliable. It has air conditioning, which is not common in my country. I take the train every time I go to the largest shopping area in my country, Gamarra. My city also has a good bus system. The system includes different routes. Some of the buses are gray, others are orange, yellow, or blue. The bus system is good, but not as modern as the train. I use it when I go to 3 parts of the city where the train doesn't go. But the type of transportation I use more often and even enjoy using is the public bikes in my district. To be able to ride them, people register online and make a payment which can be daily, monthly, or yearly. I personally love the bikes because I use them 5 times a week early in the morning to go to a park and relax. It is convenient to live in a city with so many options for transportation. What can we learn from this paragraph? Well, when you write a paragraph, you should have an introductory sentence and a concluding sentence. Both sentences have to be connected. For example, if you see the introductory sentence, you see that it has this phrase, different types of transportation, highlighted in light blue, and also it's talking about a city. And if you go to the concluding sentence, you see the same. It mentions city and many options for transportation. So both the introductory sentence and the concluding sentence both have parallel structures and parallel ideas. Now, what about articles? Let's focus on zero article. Number 1, different types of transportation. Zero article. Why? Because you're talking about transportation in general, and also transportation is non-count. That's why you don't need a or an. You don't need an article here. Air conditioning, non-count, so you cannot use a or an. Different routes. Here, routes is countable. It's in plural. You don't need a or an. No. Next, three parts, plural, so you cannot use an article such as a or the or a definite article either because you have a number already. People, here this is plural. You don't have a or an because it's plural, but you don't have the. It doesn't say the people because you're talking about people in general. And when you talk about people in general, you shouldn't be using an article. Next, options. Options in general. Options in general. And it is in plural. No a, no an, no the. Okay, no a, no an because it's plural. No the because it's options in general. And transportation in general. No the. No a, no an because it's a non-count noun. In these cases, we use zero article. Now, what about the indefinite article, a or an? Well, a good bus system, one, they are talking one bus system. So, system is in singular, that's why you have a. Next, a payment. You have to make one payment, singular, payment, countable noun. So, you need a before it. Five times a week. This is a phrase. You use a in this week always. And how many weeks are you talking about? 1 week. That's why you have a week. Next, a park. Any park. So if you talk about things in general and you are using a count noun, then that count noun has to be in singular preceded by an indefinite article to mention that the park is in general. And then again, a city, one city in general. It's good to live in a city with so many options for transportation. My city, your city, their city, any city, right? So in general, city, countable, singular, and a before it. Now, what about definite articles? To talk about things that are specific, that are unique, or that have already been mentioned. Or also with superlatives. Look, the best superlative. The electric train. There is only one electric train in this city, so it's unique. The capital city. The capital city is unique. There is only one, so that's why the capital city. The train. There's only one. That's why we're using a definite article, the train. Besides that, we have already mentioned a train, and this is the second time we are mentioning the train. That's why we need the train. Next, the train again. The largest superlative. The system. You're talking about a system. You see the underlined part of the text. First of all, you say a good bus system. So this is the first time that you're mentioning a good bus system. The second time that you mention it, the system has to be with a definite article, the. So first time a, second time the. The buses. Which buses? Specific buses that are part of that system that I mentioned before. So specific buses. The bus system, I have already mentioned it. So it's specific. I need the. The train. There's only one train. I have already mentioned it already. So it has to be specific. The train. The city. It's one city. My city. Specific city. I have already mentioned my city, so you need a definite article, the city. That type of transportation, specific, to talk about one specific type of transportation that I use more often, that I even enjoy using. So very specific, you need a definite article. The public bikes in my district, very specific bikes. I'm not talking about bikes in general. I'm talking about the public bikes in my district. So it's very specific. You need a definite article. The bikes that I mentioned before. So specific bikes. In the morning, it's a phrase that has to have an article, a definite article, the. Nice. So what other things can we learn from this paragraph? Here we have divided the paragraph in three different parts, three different ideas, but while writing the paragraph, we have made sure that there are phrases that signal transitioning. For example, number one, or transition. Number one, the best one is, the best type of transportation is, the best one is. Number two, my city also has. So when I see that also right there, it's easy for me to understand that you're going to mention the second option, the second alternative. But the type of transportation that I use more often and even enjoy using is, you have a third item here. So as you can see, um, to move from one idea to another, you don't have to use the very same expressions all the time. You can make up your own expressions or your own phrases. They can be short or long as long as they signal transition. In that way, it's easy for the reader to understand that you're moving from one idea to the next one, right? If you want to write a paragraph like this, what do you have to do? You have to organize your ideas in a graphic organizer like this. You can do some free writing. You start writing and writing and writing non-stop. And then you use all of that information to organize your ideas into a paragraph like this one, right? If you want to watch the whole video, visit aglounges.com. You can watch all our videos there too. Interested in online English classes, please contact us and visit our website. We will be happy to help you out with your English. It doesn't matter your age, the level, or the kind of need you have. Please leave your comments and questions and visit our blog and follow Hector Cabrera on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram too. Are you ready for the pronunciation and vocabulary class? Yes, I am. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start with this, and thank you. Thank you for being here. This is class number 56. I cannot imagine this. I cannot believe it. That is what I should be saying. Welcome to class number 56. This is class 56, vocabulary and pronunciation class. Today we are talking about types of transportation, and we're going to focus on vocabulary, useful vocabulary to talk about transportation. For example, pay attention to the verbs. These are collocations. You have a verb in light blue and you have a complement in white. For example, take a train, take a bus, take a taxi. Number one. Number two, get on a train, get on a horse, get on a plane, get on a motorcycle, get on a bike, get on a bus. The opposite. Get off a train, get off a horse, get off a plane, get off a motorcycle, get off a bike, get off a bus. Number three, get into a car, get into a taxi, get into a truck, get into a van. The opposite. Get out of a car, get out of a taxi, get out of a truck, get out of a van. Nice. Number four, ride a bike, ride a motorcycle, ride a horse. Cool. Go by train, go by car, go by bus, go by plane, and go by taxi. These are useful collocations that you can keep in mind, memorize them, so you can talk about transportation in your city, or you can narrate a story about using transportation when traveling. Making sure that you're using the right collocations, the right verbs followed by the right complements. Let's focus now on pronunciation using phonetic symbols taken from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. How do you pronounce this? 5 letters, 4 sounds. You have A wearing a hat. A with a hat sounds A. This word sounds train, train. Now, 3 letters, 3 sounds. You have U when you write it. You have schwa when you pronounce it. Schwa, this is not, this is a. So the pronunciation is bus, bus. Number 3, 5 letters, 4 sounds. The last letter doesn't sound the vowel, and the pronunciation is horse, horse. Number 5, 5 letters, or number 4, 5 letters, 4 sounds. Vowel A with a hat. The last vowel, when you write it, does not sound. Pronunciation plain, plain. Next, 10 letters, 10 sounds, 4 syllables. The first syllable is the stressed syllable, but the third syllable has secondary stress. And in the first syllable, you have O with a hat that sounds like O. In the second syllable, you have schwa. In the third syllable, you have I with a hat. It sounds I. In the fourth syllable, you have a schwa. It sounds Pronunciation: motorcycle, motorcycle, motorcycle. Number 6, 4 letters, 3 sounds. The last letter doesn't have a sound, and the pronunciation is with I with a hat. That is the vowel. I wearing a hat. How do you pronounce that word? I. Pronunciation: bike, bike. Then 7 letters, 7 sounds, 3 syllables. The first syllable is the stressed syllable, and you have I with a hat in the first syllable. That is I. A in the second syllable, and in the third syllable. Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. Number 8, 3 letters, 3 sounds. You have just an A. That is the A that laughs. So how do you pronounce it? A. Pronunciation: van, van. You have to imagine that you're laughing. 4 letters and 5 sounds. This is cool. 4 letters when you write it, 5 sounds when you say it. 2 syllables. The first syllable is the stressed syllable, and you have a in the first syllable, and the letter E with a hat, E, in the second syllable. How do you pronounce the word? Taxi, taxi. Number 10, 5 letters, 4 sounds. You have U when you write it, but when you pronounce it, you have schwa. Pronunciation: truck, truck. If you want to watch the whole video, visit aglounges.com. We will be happy to help you out with English classes, please, online. Visit our website, send us a message, send us an email. Thank you very much for counting on us. And if you have comments or questions, leave your comments, leave your questions right there. And visit our blog for ELT resources. Follow Hector Cabrera on Instagram, and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So this was class number 56. Do you have any questions? Let me see if there are any questions posted right there. We have no questions. Thank you very much for watching the video live or recorded. I really appreciate it. This is class number 56. Today we talked about public transportation, or different types of transportation using articles such as a, and, the, and zero article. Okay? And remember, interested in online English classes, send us an email, send us a WhatsApp message, visit our website. And visit our website. This is our website, aglounges.com, and this is our blog, Free ELT Resources. Thank you very much for watching this class, and see you next class, class number 57. Bye-bye.